Namaskar, on behalf of HRDC Gujarat University, myself, Professor Preeti Mayani, is welcoming all of you in this online workshop, which is organized by UGC HRDC Gujarat University. Today's subject is this workshop, online workshop on NEP 2020 Research, Innovation and Rankings. Friends, as we know that we all are, the Institute of Higher Education, facing this NAC accreditation process, and how these three topics are very important for our academic journey. So we have today for this subject the expert of this, Dr. Gurudat Jappi. So I'm welcoming today's resource person, Dr. Gurudat Jappi ji, on behalf of HRDC Gujarat University.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
It's our pleasure, sir. Dr. Jappi is currently working as Head of the Department of Advanced Business Studies and Deputy Director of IQSC, Gujarat University. Prior to this, he was appointed as Director and Joint CEO of Quality Assurance, Extension, Research and Innovation and Nodal Officer of RUSA at KCG, Department of Higher Education, Government of Gujarat. He was also Member Secretary of State Project Directorate. He was appointed as member for drafting new education policy for the Gujarat state. His education qualifications are MCom, MBA, MPhil, MDBA, LLB, B.Ed, BCST, CCA, MA in Political Science and PhD from Gujarat University. Before joining teaching profession, he had a year full of rich experiences of working with Reliance Industries. 9 students have completed PhD under his guidance. He has so far written 73 books, including 15 reference books and 19 edited books. 2 of his books are recommended by Nagpur University and Gondwana University for MBA courses. He has written more than 100 articles in different national and international journals in India and abroad. More than 50% of them are UGC CARE, Scopus Index, and he has delivered so far so many keynote addresses in state, national, and international level conferences. 14 IPR have been registered under his name. He has visited more than 50 colleges and universities, and now he is also at Bhakti Kavi Narsi Mehta University. Uh, so, sir, so nice of you, and I know you have today a very long journey from Ahmedabad to Junagadh, but
Yes, ma'am.
still you are with us. So, thank you so much once again for this. He has visited
I,
more than 50 colleges and universities for NEC, and so many other accreditation councils and peer member. He is holding CEO position of Grade Academic Consortium and honorary director of Global Academic and Assessment Consortium. He is also financial auditor of International Accreditation Organization. He was president of Gujarat and North Gujarat Management Teachers Association, International Society for Applied Commerce. He is also chief editor of 6 international journals. He is also advisory member of KCG e-journals. Recently, he is awarded by India Book of Awards, Asia Arab Startup Award, Indo-American Award, Indira Gandhi Award, Saraswati Gaurav Puraskar, and Best Researcher Award by reputed organizations. He has visited more than 7 foreign nations to deliver lectures in faculty development and students development programs. Russia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Turkey, Sri Lanka, and so many more. He has completed 2 minor research projects from ICSSR. So, sir, now I'm requesting you to deliver your speech.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful introduction. And I should be thankful to you for providing me an opportunity to share my views on this wonderful topic, research, innovation, and ranking. I hope and I wish that I'll be able to justify this particular topic, which is more related to New Education Policy 2020. Uh, at the outset, I would like to thank Joshi Saab also and CG Brahmbhatt Saab also for inviting me to share my views on this topic. And without wasting time, let me start. I hope my screen is visible, ma'am.
Yeah, perfect.
My screen is visible, ma'am.
Yeah, perfectly. Perfect.
Okay, ma'am. Before discussing about new education policy, I would like to discuss three important rules which I guess all the higher education institutions must follow. These three golden rules are not only related to higher education institution, this can be applied to corporate organizations as well as higher education institutions like university and colleges, as well as you can even apply to your personal life. We should try to focus more on momentum rather than focusing more on achievement and accomplishment part. So NEP is a journey. We cannot say that we have achieved all the milestones of new education policy, or we cannot say that accreditation is one particular goal. We have achieved A grade or A plus grade or A double plus grade, so our job is over. So it's not about accomplishing as far as education is concerned. So in education sector we have to focus more on the momentum rather than accomplishment. So it's a journey, so we just cannot sit at one place and relax with our achievement which we already done in past. We should also try to focus on the golden circle. There are, in golden circle there are three main points. The first is what, second is how, and third is why. Many of the people, uh, organization also, they know what they are doing, but when we say how, then how is generally answered by very few of the organization. And when we ask why you are doing, or why your existence, what the reasons for your existence, then there are very few organization which can apply or reply to this particular answer. So, being an institution, being an higher education institution, we should also try to answer why of our existence, why of what we are doing, and how we are doing. Unless we are not able to answer that, I can say that practicing or implementing any of these NEP functions will be futile. And third and most important thing is we should also not only focus on the performance part, performance, departmental performance, individual performance, organizational performance. At the same time, we should also trust on our colleague, trust on the process, trust on the organization. So trusting factor is very important, because just focusing on performance will increase the toxicity in the environment. So when we focus more on the trust, I guess we'll be able to run organization peacefully. So these are the golden rules, I would say, that we should try to focus upon while implementing our new education policy. Now, coming to the basic question, I can understand that 2 years we have already passed discussing about what is national education policy and why of national education policy. But fundamentally, we should understand before discussing anything about education policy that what is education policy. Because sometimes it may possible that we do many things, but ultimately the crux or the basic understanding of education policy we don't know. So, what is education policy? Basically, it is the framework to educate students to enhance the potential of higher learning. So, basically, when we say education policy, act of knowledge is very important in education policy. Knowledge generation is very important in education policy. So, knowledge generation is the primary thrust in education policy. Without knowledge generation, if we frame education policy, if we implement education policy, but if it fails to generate knowledge, then it is of no use. So that is what the primary purpose of education policy. And when again we say how what is act of knowledge, so basically act of knowledge is possible when learning is possible in the organization. When I say learning means qualitative learning, so when qualitative learning is possible in the organization, then only we can say act of knowledge is possible. So always remember three things: that act of knowledge is possible when learning is possible. When learning is possible, uh, when qualitative learning is possible at that time, or qualitative learning can be practiced by appreciating questioning spirit of our students. So you can say it's a hierarchy. First is comes to act of knowledge, second is qualitative learning, and third is questioning spirit. So we should try to focus more on the questioning spirit of our students, inquiring mind of our students. So unless we will not focus on this, the purpose of education policy will not be sufficed. I guess this is very like known to everyone that in education policy how accreditation is focused. But broadly, if we look at this particular diagram, we'll find that there are four structures, or rather four verticals will be set up against uh, uh, under education policy. The first vertical is HECI, and right now I read in the newspaper yesterday that the process has begun for starting or initiating this Higher Education Commission of India. So HECI will be the regulatory higher education regulatory body, higher education regulatory council, and it will function as the common single point of regulator for the higher education sector, including teacher education and excluding medical and legal education. The second vertical will be National Accreditation Council, which will be a meta accrediting body. This will be known as National Accreditation Council, which will look after accreditation part of the higher education institution broadly. The third vertical, if you see, Higher Education Grants Council, HECI will be focusing more on the grant part. So they will set some transparent criteria for giving grant to the uh, higher education institution. And the third one, a General Education Council, which will focus mainly on the learning outcome. What are the expected learning outcomes for the higher education programs? So graduate attributes or graduate outcomes will be focused in General Education Council. I believe that in any education system, curriculum, students, and teachers, these three plays very important role, or rather, you can say that these are the strongest roots or the pillars of any higher education system or education system. So I would like to discuss about this, but I will, apart from ranking, research, and innovation, I'll be covering this part also, because curriculum, students, and teachers are equally important as far as implementation of new education policy is concerned. And whenever we say research, innovation, or accreditation, all three are very much required, and these three cannot be completed without a proper curriculum, good students, and teachers. So let me start with first discipline. Since 1950, confusing variety of term has been introduced for disciplines. So right now we have been talking about multidisciplinary education, and everywhere we are focusing on multidisciplinary part. All university and other education institutions are given direction to introduce multidisciplinary curriculum and all. But this multidisciplinary or any of this word is not new. It's around 70 years old terminology, and this was coined somewhere in 1950, where all these sort of words were used: uh, adisciplinary, antidisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, multidisciplinary, non-disciplinary, omnidisciplinary, pluridisciplinary. post-disciplinary, pre-disciplinary, and transdisciplinary. So I'll be talking about this, but at the same time, whenever we say or whatever we have progressed so far, it is just because of the curriculum which we have designed. So curriculum plays a vital role, and what kind of curriculum you are setting for your higher education institution, that plays very important role. I would also like to discuss that Chinese. I've read somewhere a Chinese classical text, Zongyong, the meaning of which is doctrine of the mean, right? Wherein they have talked about three important words. One is called Boxu, one is called Bou, and third is called Boshi. Boxu stands for Boxue. Boxu stands for broad studies. Bo stands for broad learning, and Boshi stands for broad scholar, which means that each and every stakeholder, especially student and teachers, they should not focus only on one discipline. They should not focus only on one specialization. They should try to learn broadly. Broadly means broad studies, broad scholars, broad learning, which means you should not restrict yourself up to one discipline only. That is what they wanted to say. And therefore, I would say that we should not practice the concept of specialization. Generally, specialization is for the insects. It has been described as balkanization or disciplinary chauvinism, right? So specialism only helps in making creative ignorance. If you focus more on specialization, it will end up in creating creative ignorance. So I mean to say that specialization is, or disciplinary education is outdated. We should try to learn more and more, and that is what the concept which I have said, Boshi, Bau, and Boxu. So this, keeping these three words in mind, we should also try to explore new areas, new dimensions, and new venues. Now, coming to the next point, heutagogy, andragogy, and pedagogy. This is also important because what we do is at higher education institution, we focus more on the pedagogy part. If you see, pedagogy is mentioned on the lower side where the autonomy is very less. And if you talk about andragogy and heutagogy, the level of autonomy increases. So what this three concept is all about? So pedagogy focuses on things we do. It talks about teaching practices. It talks about methods which we use to teach our students. It is more appropriate when students are dependent on teachers. So I'm talking about some 30, 35 years before, where 35 years before, where teachers were the monopoly on the stage. They were considered as the monopoly of this subject. They were the sage on the stage. So whatever they say, it is like Bible. It is like a Gita. So that was the concept earlier. But now that scenario has changed. This scenario is changed. Uh, Now student teachers are not considered as sage on the stage, or they are not the monopoly of the subject, because there are many other ways to get the knowledge, get the information. So we are no more monopoly of the subject, and therefore I would say that andragogy and heutagogy should be focused. Uh, so I would say andragogy is is more appropriate. Andragogy and heutagogy. Andragogy is more about felicitation, facilitation of the learner. So our role is more of guide, facilitator than the teacher, right? So what we do is in andragogy, uh, we just we just facilitate learning to the learners or to the direct learners or to the self-directed learners. Wherein when we talk about heutagogy is again related, it's a self-directed learning wherein we are searching and reflecting. So self-reflectivity is given more priority in heutagogy. And when we say heutagogy, the autonomy is more as compared to other in heutagogy, compared to andragogy and pedagogy. So this is what I just wanted to say this because whenever we talk about curriculum, wherever we talk about teachers or students, we should not only focus upon pedagogy, we should also focus on andragogy and heutagogy. Now, coming to the concept of knowledge, you can see here there are ways and ways to get the knowledge, and this we have been practicing since long. And there is a concept of epistemology that we'll cover later. But the sources of knowledge are basically divided in three parts. One is called uh, knowledge through empiricism, through experience. Second is called knowledge through rationalism, and third is knowledge through spiritualism. So I guess we have been practicing this to get the knowledge, to learn. We practice empiricism, we practice rationalism, and we practice uh, spiritualism also to get the knowledge. And in India, we are more, attracted towards spiritualism than rationalism. And we also learn a lot through empiricism, that is experience. But now again, knowledge is outdated. Now, you will say that what kind of monolithic term or monolithic word I've used. But yeah, that's true. Knowledge is outdated because uh, we know the terms epistemology, right? Epistemology is the theory of knowledge, especially with regard to its methods, validity, and scope. So, epistemology is nothing but it's a theory of knowledge, you can say. And I have talked about this epistemology only, means these are all the part of epistemology. There's knowledge, methodology of knowledge, theory of knowledge, and all. But now, being an higher education or institution, if we focus more on epistemology, will not be able to justify the concept of higher education. Why? Because the term is changed now. We should try to focus more on agnotology. Now, again, you'll ask a question that what agnotology is all about. I'll come to that point, but let me take you to one more example. Just a minute. Sorry for the interruption. So, Japan is the first country to launch the concept of discipline of learning to learn, how to relearn, how to unlearn, right? And coming to the concept of agnotology is about exploring the area of ignorance. So, in knowledge, generally we learn the things which we don't know. But agnotology is the area of the ignorance. So, we try to find out the area of ignorance, and then we try to learn with our ignorance. Agnotology is a new concept. So, as an institution, also, as a learner, also, we should try to explore the area of ignorance. So, we should try to focus more on the agnotology than epistemology, because epistemology will be there forever. We just cannot deny. But at the same time, we should also focus on agnotology, which is nothing but the area of ignorance, because knowledge is limited and ignorance is unlimited. I repeat, because knowledge is definite and ignorance is infinite. That is the reason why we should more and more explore on the agnotology part. So this is what the first takeaway from this. Start learning about how to explore the area of ignorance, and not preaching or telling students what is known to everyone. So we must make our students a man of learning and not learned men. Learned men means those who are attached with the past knowledge. I've seen telling people that this is the experiment. They don't have practice new things in the class. They continue with the same structure, same story, all outdated information. So we have to make our student man of learning, which are attached to the present and the future knowledge, and not tied up to the past knowledge. So that is what the importance of I would say agnotology. Now coming to our first point of research, let me take you to the history of research first. uh, we know we have traveled from Gurukul to a university concept. So, University of Korean is the first university in the world. So, the university which you are looking right now, a structure of university wherein you have departments, professor, associate professor, similar kind of structure was started by University of Korean in Morocco, and that was in 859 AD. And Al Azhar University was the second university which was established in 1917 Egypt. But when we say in India, Serampore College, Howrah means in West Bengal was established in the year 1818. Then University of Roorkee, which is now right now known as IIT Roorkee, Uttarakhand, uh, which was started as University of Roorkee and then replaced as Thomson College of Engineering in 1847. That was the another institution in the similar university structure. And then that three university by Britishers were established in 1857: University of Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta. So if we look at the history of research, the Bolgana University was the oldest university which has coined for the first time the term research. Earlier, research was limited to the field of law, medicine, and technology, but now you can say it is now anyone can from any discipline can do research. But earlier, it was restricted up to law, medicine, and technology. Yale University was the first university to award DPhil degree, and the person who got this degree was James Morris Witten, whose PhD was of 6 pages, and he took 1 year of time to complete his PhD. Now, coming to what kind of research the world is expecting, and what kind of research we should try to focus more on national education policy. So, if you look at this, there are basically four disciplines which you will come across right now. Disciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity, and transdisciplinarity. So when we say this, biology in science, or marketing management in commerce, or philosophy in arts, these are all disciplinarity. So there is one discipline only. So we are traveling in one discipline. So singularity we learn and then we do research in one particular discipline. This is very outdated. Then, if you look at this particular chart, you'll find this wherein we have talked about three different dimensions. This is nothing but a multidisciplinarity: sociology, economics, political science. So, if you are working on some pastoral analysis, or if you are talking about socio-economic condition of some uh, area, then that is of multidisciplinary, wherein you talk about sociology of the people as well as economic condition of the people. The third is forensic accounting. It's a part of interdisciplinarity or interdisciplinary education or research, wherein you find forensic means forensic subject, a science subject, law subject, and accounting subject. But what is the difference between interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity? In interdisciplinarity, you are integrating more than two or three disciplines, and then you are doing research in that subject. So that is what interdisciplinarity. And when we say transdisciplinarity is again extension of interdisciplinarity, but there is one particular difference. The difference is it addresses to the public problems, it addresses to the public issues. So in transdisciplinary research also, there is integration of more than two three disciplines, but at the same time all three disciplines are focusing on the public problems, on the public issues. So yeah, so I would say right now we should work more on transdisciplinarity research, because the world demands this sort of research, this type of research. Uh, so, whatever paper you are writing or books you are writing, make sure that your research is useful to the public, or your research is useful to address the public problem, to solve the public issues, right? Otherwise, that research is of no use. So, this is what the first takeaway in the research part, right? So try to make sure that your research is of transdisciplinary nature. The second is how to increase the research impact and citations. So, as I said, by promoting multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary research, multidisciplinary in terms of education and transdisciplinary in terms of research, because you can do your transdisciplinary research only when you know multidisciplinary subject. Without knowing multidisciplinarity or plurality of the subject, you will not be able to do transdisciplinary research. And therefore you need to understand multidisciplinary education, and then you can go with transdisciplinary research. So educate your students not to be singular, educate student not to be travel in one single discipline, make them multidisciplinary, so that in future they can do research in transdisciplinary nature. Create a pool of teachers by appointing adjunct faculty and emeritus professors. Sometimes what happens that if you appoint good adjunct faculties and emeritus professor who are veteran in the field and having a vast experience, wide experience of the research as well as of the subject or domain, then they will certainly help your teachers to to do a better research. The third is cutting edge contemporary research. So we should always focus on the latest modern research areas and not outdated research areas. Having students from different countries and regions, that will also help you to increase your research impact, and that will also help you to increase the citations. So that is what you do, what you can do. How to excel research. So basically, the core strength of any university can be sectoral strength or novelty in research. So you can pursue excellence in research by various ways. So these are the list, and I have given how you can do it. Say for example, contemporary subjects and connectivity with industry or application, cutting edge subjects and local strength, comparison with national and international top ranked institutions, think globally, act locally, solving local problems, competitive quotients at departmental level, local level, university level, state level, national level, and at international level, and creation of IPR from the research, which we are generally avoiding nowadays. So we should try to go for maximum intellectual property, right? We should not only stick to on patents, but we should also try to get copyrights, designs, trademarks, and all, service marks, and all. So we should not limit ourselves up to going for patents only. Though some of the accreditation agency and ranking agencies, they consider only patents as IPR, but there are many other way, because the ultimate purpose of IPR is not to count number of patents. The ultimate concept of IPR is to count the commercial value, the commercialization of the IPR. So if your copyright helps you to get a lot of funding, then you should also work on copyright part. Or same is the case with trademark and design also. Here I've mentioned comparison with national and international top ranked institutions. Generally, what we do is when we are applying for some of the accreditation or ranking framework, we focus only on our data, only on our work, and we generally do not compare what other institutions are doing. So, as an institution, a college, or as a university, you should try to compare your university with the best university of the country and with the best university of the world. So that will help you to improve yourself, because as I said, that working in higher education institution is more as momentum and less as accomplishment. So we are working in a momentum, not just to achieve some target like accreditation or rank. Now coming to comparison, so what to compare? Because generally when you are comparing with the best national level organization or best international level university, certain problems will come, right? That problems can be: number one is funding alone is the problem, means that universities are getting us good funding, they are rich, that is the problem. Some national important institutions are getting good funding, so funding is the problem, number one. Number two, quality of research, where they are getting more citations, their research are more viewed by the people, downloaded by the people, by the peers, and your research is less cited or less viewed by the scholars. IPR and innovation, they have registered more and more intellectual property rights, or innovation is happening more in the institutions and less in your institutions. Creation and maintenance of infrastructure. So the other universities are spending more on maintenance of the infrastructure. They are creating infrastructure regularly, and every year they are coming up with new infrastructure. Creation of state of the art facility to attract and retain the talent. So you are finding the best infrastructure available in the university. Ease of access to leading database like research, patents, reports, and abstracts, etc. Because many leading database, I don't want to name any of such database, but there are certain database which are very expansive and which are very helpful for doing good research. So uh, are there, this university providing such facilities to the scholars and the teachers, and your university is not providing that, then that may be the reason why you are leaking from so many things. Government refusal to support public funded institutions, so you are not getting enough grant for infrastructure maintenance, for even for recruitments also. Libraries and data system is weak in your institution. Industrial sabbaticals and international collaborations are not happening in your institution. So and of course, capacity building in developing the talent. So these are all the list of issues which you can compare with the best universities of the world and of the country, and thereby you can improve yourself in the area of research. Now coming to the ranking part, if you closely look at this, now ranking and accreditation is now like Aadhaar card. Why I say Aadhaar card? Because Aadhaar is now mandatory for everything. If you want to open account, you need Aadhaar card. If you want to check in somewhere, you have to write Aadhaar card number. If you want to book a tickets, you have to write down Aadhaar card. If you want to take admission, you have to give Aadhaar card. So Aadhaar card is like a passport, or it's like a main identity of a person. So similarly, this ranking and accreditation is also Aadhaar card of the university, right? That will give you some recognition, and therefore you should go for ranking and accreditation. I've seen many private players, they are not going for ranking and accreditation because they believe that by going for ranking accreditation, we are not benefiting from anything. We are not going to get any kind of grant from the government. We are not going to be benefited in any terms. So I guess that is the wrong phenomena. We should not focus ranking and accreditation only for the sake of grant. We should go for ranking and accreditation for the recognition, for creating a brand image, for creating a unique identity in the education market. So that is what we need. That is what we should go for ranking and accreditation. And if you see, I've mentioned the list of ranking and accreditation right now, and there may be many more available in the country and the world. But you should try to get this certification so that you can easily use this certification as Aadhaar. So, as you are aware, NAC ARIA is your Atal Ranking Innovation. Then NBA is generally used for technical and management professionals. Quality Council of India (QCI) and ISO certification. SQA is for school education. THE Times Higher Education Ranking. QS ranking. NIRF ranking. World Most Innovative University ranking. Eluvia is for schools again. Education World. Uh, Fraser Institutes of School Ranking, that is for again schools. IAO, International Accreditation Organization. AAA GSIRF is KCG, our local accreditation and ranking framework. Then Global Academic Accreditation Consortium. That is, they are the private players in auditing and assessment accreditation. Institute of Eminence and Graded Autonomy. So these are the various these are the various ways to go for ranking and accreditation. Now, ranking parameters or overall parameters, I would say for all the agencies. So if you are filing form for this any of the agency, you will find these are the topics which are widely used: faculty and its diversity, students and their diversity, quality of faculty and students, spread and diversity of alumni, access to high end facilities, research outputs, patents and publications, quality of support staff, PRO and perceptions. So these are, I would say, more or less you will find all parameters in any or in almost all the agencies of ranking, assessment, and accreditation. So as I explained that it is worked as Aadhaar card, but specifically what are the requirement? Why we do why do we need ranking and assessment? So these are the list of the benefits of ranking and assessment. First, institution can know their strength and weakness, opportunities through informed review process, identification of internal areas of planning and research allocation, collegiality on the campus, funding agencies look for objective data for performance funding, institutions to initiate innovative and modern methods of pedagogy, new sense of direction and identity for institutions. The society look for reliable information on quality education offered. Employers look for reliable information on the quality of education offered to the prospective recruiters. Inter and intra-institutional interactions. So these are the formal importance or the benefits for going for ranking and assessment. Now you see, back this I've mentioned in the last point, perception, right? Perception plays a vital role, right? Because in many of the international ranking agency, there are criteria, there are marks for the perceptions. So, what are the factors responsible for the perception? So, you see here, reputation of alumni, international collaboration, promotion of research and innovation, industry sponsored projects, quality and diversity of students, government support, placement record, international standing of faculty, and internet industrial consultation. These are the list of factors which are responsible for getting good marks in perception. But how you can do that? Say for example, reputation of alumni. How to know that your alumni are reputed alumni? So that can be known through financial assistance, what financial assistance they have given to the institution or to the students who are studying in your institution. If you say international collaboration, then how many international conference you have organized in collaboration with some international universities or organization. When I say promotion of research and innovation, then do you have any kind of national and international recognition, your teachers, your university, your departments? Then when I say industry sponsored projects, then do you have MOU with the industry for this kind of projects? If no, then you can go with it. Quality and diversity of students. So what are the quality of your support staff also? Means how your support staff is participation. So quality and diversity of the students can be judged through support staff participation. Government support means how you are serving to the society and therefore you are getting funds from government. Placement record, industry and public perception. You can get to know that whether your placements are good or not. International standing of faculty, that can be known through your teachers are invited for scholarly sessions, or many international universities have invited them for scholarly lectures or not. Now coming to the innovation. Earlier, classroom and laboratory were the place where the innovation was taking place. Now, startups and incubation centers are the mothers who give birth to the innovation. So, only innovation is not needed, but it should be converted in IPR. So, again, only IPR is not needed. It should be also generate wealth and revenue for the university. So, just by focusing on the numbers, we are not going to prove anything. Say we say uh, we have filed 100 patents or we have filed 50 patents. That is not going to help actually. So, or we can say that we have incubated 100 startups. Again, that is not going to help you anyway. But what you have generated financially from this innovation, what money you have generated by intellectual property rights you have registered, that is important. And if you see here, MIT is the first university with around I guess it's 250 lakhs dollar their patent issued and legal fees, and the what do you say, the commercialization of patents helped them to get 250 lakhs dollars, right? And there are list of university who are making money out of their innovation. So this is what is actually needed. Simply filing the patents is of no use. What amount you have been getting out of it, that is important. So you see the list of the university where you find the amount, the money which they are, and the MIT is the first university. No doubt this data is quite 4 years old, but if you if you look at the current year data also, MIT is the first university getting the maximum number of commercial values of the patents. And these are the top 20 university with most initiated startups. So startups not only starting the startup, but they are continuing with the startups. At the same time, they are earning a good amount of money out of that startup. In this also, MIT is the first. They have registered almost 244 startups in 10 years, which are most lucrative startups by this university. Means these 244 startups are helping to get millions of dollars to the university. So now, University Arizona is the last University of Colorado, and Brigham Young University. These are the university with having 103 lucrative startups, where MIT is the first. Then billion-dollar startups by the colleges. So in Stanford University, colleges having $51 billion startups. So they have 51 startups which are getting money of $1 billion to the institutions. So again, you see, this is what the important is. Simply going for registration of IPR, no use. Simply getting the numbers of IPR registered is of no use. But getting money out of that, yes, it is useful. Now, why Indian university don't do what other world-class university can do? Why? Because we are focusing more on teaching and less on research. Because I would say that our teachers are not so comfortable in doing researches, maybe because of many other reasons. Large gap between the university and market means what curriculum of university is designed and what market is expecting is totally different. There's a huge gap. Focusing more on research papers for API and not for quality research. So they are not doing research because they want to contribute something significantly, but they are doing research because they want their API, they want their promotion. Publications are more valued than patents. So they are running after publication because that helps you for promotion. Fail to convert intellectual property to commercialization, lack of information available, missing policies for innovation and commercialization for the intellectual property rights, insufficient funding and support, missing industry collaborations, lack of ability of taking risk. Uh, I'm talking about not only teachers but institutions are also, uh, uh, you know, they are also sailing in the same boat. Belief and attitude of teachers and institutions for research or for this intellectual innovations. Therefore we have become, because of this we have become, knowledge consumers and not knowledge producers. Now the question is, how you commercialize your innovation. What are the ways to commercialize your innovation? So you can commercialize your innovation through technology transfer, by licensing you can commercialize, by transferring property rights, by joint ventures, by university startups or incubation, by patent enforcement, by revenue sharing models. So if your teacher or student is coming with good proposal, a good innovative product, then university can entertain student or teacher by giving or by showing a good revenue model for them, so that it can be a win-win situation for both. And sometimes ownership issues are also coming more for this kind of innovations, because uh, later on students and teachers, they believe that this is not the property, it's an innovation of individual and not the university, and therefore they are not coming up for the innovation at the university centers. So these are the main areas wherein we can work on ranking, research, and the assessment part. Now, what as a teachers, what we are supposed to do, because as I said in my first uh, part of the session, that role of teachers, role of students, and role of curriculum, these three are very, this play a very important role in not only in implementing NEP but also for implementing any kind of policy, or for going for any kind of assessment, accreditation, or ranking. This will remain as the roots of the education system. So, as a teacher, our role is, apart from self development, we have a role for institution and national building also. So, we, the teacher, we are the digital immigrants. We are, as I said, we are no longer sage on the stage, we are no longer monopoly of the subject, we are now facilitator. As a teacher, we should start learning with our students. Learning with the students doesn't mean that you have to learn from students, but we should also make a breach between intellectual, emotional, experience, observational, verbal, theoretical, and non-verbal kind of bridge. So this is what the important part is. So you see, clubs are the best things which we can have. Why clubs? Because it's a very old concept. Earlier, this kind of clubs these were the informal clubs, wherein all the stakeholders of higher educations they were invited, and they were discoursing about different concepts at the same time. So I would say that from 1855 to 1954, these are the university who were discussing some informal ideas in some informal clubs. So same thing we can do at a university or college, where we can have some informal clubs and we can discuss about the ignorant areas. We can talk about the area of ignorance. We can talk about broad learning. We can talk about broad subjects. So this is what the need of the hour for opening such kind of clubs, and this can be also done through a concept called Taral. So as a teacher, we should not restrict ourselves to teaching, but we should also try to explore area of administrations, research, advisory, and learning. So administration, because we should also know about different kinds of audit framework, different kinds of accreditation framework, ranking framework. That way we should try to understand administration. Research, of course, I've seen many teachers, they keep away from research, but research is very much a core part of your job. So you should also devote some time for research. You should also play a role of advisory, not for the companies, not for different organization, but for your alumni. I mean to say that you have to be in touch with your alumni, and you have to play a role of advisory. You should try to get maximum information of alumni what they are doing, and the same thing can be used for helping your university or the college. Learning learning is again a core part. As I said, we are living in a learning age, right? We are living in a learning age where we are trying to learn a lot of things on day by day basis. So we should also spend some time. At least we should try to learn not from the books, but we should try to develop a new skills, maybe a digital skills, maybe related to IT, maybe related to any computing skills. But we should try to nurture new skills every month to upgrade ourselves. These are the challenges which we are facing as a teacher, because I can understand that right now disruptive innovations are taking place in the education field. Disruptive innovation is nothing but you know complete change, or facing a new market by transforming the old market. So there is a 360-degree change, and that is what we have been witnessing since last 2 years. So because of this only, today I am taking lecture and all of you are listening. So disruptive innovation is again a big challenge for us as a teacher. Outcome based education, there is no output based education, means the entire education system is now after competencies, after skills, after expertise. So we have to train our students to learn more and more competencies. Transdisciplinary research, as I said, that we have been writing good research articles, but they are not of transdisciplinary nature. So we should try to understand that how to learn transdisciplinary research and how to implement transdisciplinary research. These are also some challenges faced by higher education institution. uh, I will not go in detail about all this but I would say a couple of challenges: partial attention deficit syndrome, or ADHD, and dark emotions. These are the main challenge. How to handle dark emotions, dark personality of the students, teachers, or any other stakeholders, and how to overcome the concept called partial attention deficit syndrome, where it's difficult to get 100 percentage of the attention from your students. There is one more concept of quality. We have failed to understand the concept of quality. Uh, Most of the term, or I would say, quality is now explained or rather quantified by the experts. So quality cannot be quantified, right? So how to measure quality of higher education institution? I'll come to that point later. This is a simple paradigm, I would like to say. Old paradigm was teacher centric. It was focused more on teaching. Lessons plan and notes were important tools to teach. I would say pedagogy was the important term. So earlier teachers were active in the class, and teachers training was part of improving teachers training. New paradigm is different. They are no more teacher centric. It has become now student centric. Focus is not on teaching, focus is on learning. Learning design is important. Students are more active in the class now. So not only teachers, but students are also active. They are coming, watching videos on YouTube and coming with some preparation, and then they discuss in the class with the teachers. So now teachers training should be given to improve learning outcome and not to just train to the teachers. Now coming to one more thing, uh, TPAC model. This is important because uh, you know, as we have become a digital teacher, so we should also try to learn this TPAC model, wherein we should understand six different dimensions of this. The first dimension is TPK, that is technological pedagogical knowledge, TPK. Then TCK, technological content knowledge. Then PCK, pedagogical content knowledge. The next is TK, technological knowledge, content knowledge, and pedagogical knowledge. So, in short, we should try to understand or try to learn uh, this different concepts of knowledge, how to develop content technologically, how to use pedagogy with technology, how to develop content for the pedagogy. So these are the different terms we should try to understand now, and we should focus more on learning this new dimensions. Flipped learning or blended learning. I guess you are quite aware with this concept of flipped and blended learning, where the literally meaning of this is to flip. Flip means to turn over. Flip learning is technically means turning or flipping the sequence of the events of learning. So, what is important in this flip learning is the flip blended learning design, right? Because as I said, that we have to focus more on heutagogy and not on pedagogy. And when I say heutagogy, in heutagogy we have to have a good FBLDs, flip blended learning designs. So how to do or how to make this design? So these are the different activities which we have to perform for FBLDs. Improve understanding of the content, scope of each FBLD content to be covered. For example, whole syllabus should we cover as FBLD, or a unit only you have to cover as FBLD, or a chapter we have to cover as FBLD. Defining learning outcome, instrument of formative assessment of learning outcome, accessing learning resources, FBLD learning templates, review of result and experience, and developing FBLD banks. Because when I say FBLD, we have to have a good bank for FBLD. We should have a good content on online mode so that a student can go and learn through this concept. Uh, Taxonomy. Taxonomy is basically a classification. Classification in terms of measuring learning outcomes. And there are different types of taxonomy you can see here: Bloom's taxonomy, Solo taxonomy, Fink's taxonomy, and six facets of learning. And when I say Bloom's taxonomy, I guess you have studied this concept of Bloom's taxonomy, where you define different learning levels right from remembering to creating, or right from, you can say, reciting to creating or applying. It's outdated taxonomy. Then solo taxonomy is one of the taxonomy structured of observed learning outcome, which focuses on the a complexity, structural complexity of the problem. So we have a pre-structural complexity, unistructural complexity, multi-structural complexity, relational complexity, extended abstract. So these are the different kinds of complexity which we have to address. Structure of observed learning outcome is one of the taxonomy to measure the learning labels. Six facets of learning is one more way, which is more or less similar to Bloom's taxonomy. And the last is Fink's taxonomy, wherein we measure through learner's perspective, whether after observing the learner's perspective we can say that it is means this taxonomy is successful or not. So again it is divided in six parts, right from foundational knowledge to learning to learn. So whether student is having foundational knowledge of the subject, or whether students can learn their own way. So these are the different levels of measuring as per Fink's. Now I would say that Fink's taxonomy is the best taxonomy to measure the learning outcomes of the students. Now you'll ask me a question: how come you can come to the conclusion that Fink's taxonomy is the best? As I said, looking to our national education policy, there are a couple of things which is addressed by the policymakers, wherein learning is one of the important area, application is one more area, and most important, human dimensions and caring is another important area, which is covered in the Fink's taxonomy and not covered in other three taxonomies. And therefore, we should try to use Fink's taxonomy for measuring learning outcomes. Uh, as I said, role of teacher is not limited to individual development, but they should also contribute to the institution and national building. So, students, as you know that we humans are traveling since different ages, from ice age to stone age to tribal age to agrarian age to industrial age to information age to learning age, and now from learning age we are moving towards or heading towards entrepreneurial age. From age to ages, or from different ages which we have been traveling, a particular quotient is being addressed time to time. Quotient is nothing but a quality characteristic of an individual. So you have learned about different kinds of quality quotients. You are quite aware with intellectual quotient, social quotient, emotional quotient, spiritual quotient, passion quotient, and adversity quotient. So it was started as a Brown quotient. Brown quotient means muscular. Brown means muscular. So earlier, muscularity of the people were appreciated during tribal ages and stone ages and ice age. But now, what is the current trending? What people are expecting now, or what student should learn from the institution, or what as a teacher we should teach our students. So there are two questions which we should teach to our students. One is the passion quotient. Passion quotient means, why passion quotient? Because we are living in an entrepreneurial age, and therefore our student must have passion. Otherwise, those who have passion will hire our students to work under that, right? So we should develop our student passions, and that should be converted into their you know way of earning money. And second is adversity quotient. Now, why adversity quotient? So the concept of adversity quotient is to measure your ability to go through rough patches in the life and to come out without losing your mind. As we have seen in the case of corona period, that many people have faced the troubles, and due to this corona situation, many professional, a great professional, successful people, they were also going from the bouts of depression. They could not handle the adversity, and what we believe that such kind of adversity will be the new normal in coming years. So we should try to teach our students to how to address adversity in their life. So always remember, passion quotient and adversity quotient, these are two important quotient for which we have to educate our students. Coming to the quality, redefining quality. As I said that most of the concept or most of the time quality is quantified. We have failed to define quality. So I would say quality can be ensured only when institution practices four important things. The first is rationality, second is communicability, third is negotiability, and fourth is shareability. If you want to say that we are practicing quality education, or we are serving quality education, or we are giving imparting quality education, it can be justified only when there is a rationality in the behavior or in the understanding, there is a proper communicability in the organization, there has to be a negotiability, transparent negotiability, and when there is a shareability, then only we can say that quality can be possible in the organization. So always remember, these four pillars are very important to practice the quality in the institution. So I guess with this, I am putting full stop on my session, and I hope all of you have learned something uh, different. Uh, so, is there any doubts or question you have, Priti ma'am?
Ji, thank you so much, sir, for your this wonderful presentation. You started with golden circle, performance versus trust,
Thank you.
and momentum versus accomplishment. What, how, and why. The tree of knowledge system, exploring the area of ignorance, and then we try to learn with ignorance. It's really very touchy words, I think, a touchy line for academicians like us. So amazing presentation by you, respected Dr. Jappi ji.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Knowledge is limited and ignorance is unlimited. Friends, as a teacher, we should rethinking about this sentence, and we should act like this: think globally, act locally. Today, as we know that our honorable prime minister is in Gujarat, and he always emphasize on this, that think globally, act locally. So we should, as a teacher, we should think over this. Quality of research, ranking, and accreditation is now like Aadhaar card. So it's I think it's a really perfect word for this Aadhaar card.
It has
So
become like Aadhaar card only.
we accept
People
your this
actually people are
word.
asking people are asking that what grade you have and what rank you have. So at that time we feel that it is more important like Aadhaar card.
Uh, and
Therefore,
I also I know that you are also working very hard in Gujarat University for this particular this word Aadhaar card. So um, tremendous. Then ranking parameters. Commercialization of innovations, role of teacher. It's a really very important part for teachers in your this presentation, and challenges faced by teachers and higher educational institutions. And you also given the roadmap for the teacher to how to think, what to think, and when to do all this. So I really thankful to you on behalf of HRDC Gujarat University. uh, I'm also thankful our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Himanshu Pandya our respected Registrar, Dr. P.M. Patel sir, my Dynamic Director of HRDC Gujarat University, Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi ji, my senior most colleague, Professor C.G. Brahmbhatt ji, and my entire team of HRDC Gujarat University. And I'm sure that all the participants, and this is also a Facebook Live, so it's very useful presentation by you, Dr. Gurudat Jappi ji, and as we all know that you have that expertise of this presentation, and we learn a lot from you. Thank you so much once again. Friends, be connected with HRDC because we have backbone like Dr. Gurudat Jappi with us, and be with HRDC. I'm sure that you have a great learning with this presentation, this online workshop. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you all.